It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Mic check, yeah, my mic
every
work.
morning I'm faced with heaven and hell, fighting my consciousness. See my vision clear as optometrist, I'm an optimist, a southern king. Hustle to get flooded chains, grew up on Jewels and Wayne. 9 niggas stacking like 100 ways. Walking this earth, I took control of my turf. Had to learn to protect my soul before I knew what it's worth. My homies had to work, I was clocking in at work. My virtuous reality done took us to the metaverse. Water with the lemon squeeze, passport up in my jeans. Sticking to the code, watching sucker niggas switching teams. I gotta grind, my fam eating off the strength of my dive. This industry gave me no favors, you could tell from my eyes. The money coming, had to fight for it. Meeting with them white boys, trying to make a living with this mic card. Buzz going crazy, got them straight up out the psych ward. My life story deeper than these niggas had to fight wars. It's Nolan.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. In this particular video, we're going to keep this whole thing rolling between Camron and Jim Jones. Unfortunately, Dipset is just not in a good place. It seems like it's completely over with. As somebody who grew up on Dipset, had Dipset clothing, you know what I'm saying, at one point in time in high school, like, these is guys that I really mimicked. Listen, I had the mixtapes. Still to this motherfucking day, I'm listening to Diplomatic Immunity like it just came out. That's probably one of the only albums in 2003 I listened to more than 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying, just because of them fucking beats. But all that aside, Jimmy and Cam are just not in a good place, and it seems like there's no pathway to get there. Okay, it was just a couple days ago, Jim Jones went on the Breakfast Club and talked once more about Camron. He claims that Cam snaked him out. Y'all remember the iconic verses where Jadakiss went off and put on a fucking masterclass, was beating them with freestyles, live performance, not getting out there using no backing tracks or the actual songs to perform over. You know, those guys went out there and completely, and those guys being the Locks, got out there and completely demolished Dipset. And to be honest, I had Dipset winning that on paper, but live was a whole different story, right? So Jim Jones claims that Camron did some sort of backdoor deal in which he was able to get more out of the situation than the rest of his Dipset cohorts, and he's still holding a grudge about it, right? He even challenged Camron to a fight and say he would box this man's head off, and they could do it for $10 million in front of the world. I don't think we'll ever see that happening, and I don't think anybody ever wants to see it happening, okay? Once again, we're talking about nearly 50-year-old men in hip-hop. You know, I would rather see them... I don't know. I'd rather see them just conduct business, release their music, Cam do his shows, and everybody just live their life. But anything dealing with physicality at that age is going to be sloppy. It's not going to be all that great. So $10 million, it wouldn't even be worth it. Right? But as it pertains to this whole Verzuz thing, Cam has come out and released texts regarding it. And he made reference to an old interview he did in which he explained what the deal was and why he negotiated the way that he did. So first, let's get into what Jim had to say, and then we'll get into Cam's response.
I thought that everything was like good, and then it got like randomly just got like rocky again.
Yeah,
like where does that?
The Verzuz was weak, man. Man, because he got booed and we lost, man. Let's tell the truth.
That's what y'all fell out about again? It's not that. It can't be that. No, that was a joke.
He got booed at the end. He forgot his freestyle. Shout out to Jada and them. They was on top of their game. They knew what they came to do. They had, you know what I mean? They was ready. You did? Mm-hmm. Us? Not so much ready. No.
No.
Us not so much ready. I think triple what I had last time, the way we put that Verzuz on fire too. We had that thing looking like a championship game. Yeah, Swiss holla at me, and you backdoored me, gave that man some business that you ain't give all of us. You definitely got to give me triple Swiss, and you got to give me some real business this time. See, that's the funny thing about this game. You heard? Like, y'all don't talk about the backdooring that's going on for the verses. Everybody keep keying, but
What was the backdooring?
I wanted the bag.
Mm-hmm.
You heard? But we got the bag. But boy still went back door like, yo, for me to do the verses, you got to give me part of this business. That had nothing to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
You heard? But he would say, that's me being a businessman. Nah, that's you being a sucker doing backdoor shit. You heard? But nobody want to talk about that. I know.
We didn't know yet.
I ain't no backdoor ass nigga. You heard? I stand on 10 toes and I break bread with my nigga.
All right, so that's Jim Jones. And, you know, Versus... It's crazy that we're still talking about Versus in 2025. Let's just go ahead and put that out there off the motherfucking rip. Why are we talking about Versus in 2025? Don't nobody want to see that shit. I know Swiss and Tim got it back. Y'all got it back too fucking late, okay? It was amazing when it was here. Got some iconic moments out of that motherfucker. We got some hilarious moments out of that motherfucker. Like, the time has passed. Now, if y'all want to take it live, right? And y'all want to do like just straight up Versus tour, and y'all, you know what I mean? That still is viable. But as far as like the spectacle of watching an artist versus another artist, I think we've seen everybody that we needed to see. And the artists that we thought we needed to see will never do it. So you're kind of in a space where it can't continue in the way that it was. Right? That's dead. Jim Jones, for whatever reason, he still feels like there's some life to it. I think they were talking about him, you know, possibly going up against some other people out of New York on a solo versus 50 Cent's name came up and he crazy as fuck to think that he could go against 50, but we're going to leave that alone. But again, as it pertains to the money side of it, because Camron wasn't moved. He didn't care to do Versus in the first place. He wasn't really paying attention to it, so he claims. So when he was approached for it, he wasn't really like jumping out of his seat. And he said, yo, what are we getting paid for this? Initially, I don't know if there was money, because there was money on the table. And I believe every artist that played a role in the initial version of Versus has some sort of ownership or a stake in it. But whatever it was, Camron was like, nah, we're going to have to up the ante a little bit because y'all sold this company and got mad bread for it. So we're going to have a different conversation. Jim Jones at the time, he says Jim was not tripping off the money. He was willing to do it for free. You know, he wanted to treat it like the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? Because people were definitely seeing a influx of streams and ticket sales and, you know, revenue generation after doing the verses, because to be honest, a lot of people were tuned in, but they added a little bit too much extra stuff to the show. They had opening acts nobody cared about. They put that shit on boxing matches nobody gave a fuck about. The whole, you know, y'all remember that shit. But he was willing to, you know, take it for the team. Camron, on the other hand, not so much. So first thing he did was reveal text messages that showed Jim was willing to do it for free. So up top here, we have Jim Jones. He says, this opportunity is bigger than life to me. Jesus, bigger than life. So clearly, Jim Jones must have brought the situation, period. He must have been the one that was talking to Swiss. This opportunity is bigger than life to me. It's not about money for me. With this, yes, the money makes it even better, but this is my ultimate bucket list and dream. Look at the verbiage here. This is bigger than life. This is my ultimate bucket list, you know? So he was very much enthralled into everything that was surrounding it. And this little screen cap looked crazy, but whatever. And And this was my ultimate dream since we started this shit. But you got to also understand, Jim Jones was not a rapper in the beginning. Jim Jones was the muscle or part of the muscle for Dipset. He was an okay rapper. And it took him years to like really get his groove. So now he's rapping better in his latter years than he was in his earlier years. He's got better business going on. All of these different things. So he's like, shit, this is a culmination of all the hard work, all the fights, all the rucker games. We jump fences. You know what I'm saying? All the in-crew bickering. Like, let's get out here and do this shit and blow this up. Right? He says, I'm willing to give you my money. Okay? So any money that was going to come in from the initial offer, he said, I'm willing to give you my cut. So you can make the money you feel you deserve. So we can do this concert if that's the problem. Which, hey, among homies, if that's the kind of deal y'all want to do, I'm not mad at that, honestly. Because clearly he's letting it be known this is very important to me. Now, whether we agree on that or concur, that's a different conversation. Okay? And he says, and this is no shade. It's an opportunity for everyone to eat. Not just off money, but that platform can change a lot of business and bring a lot of business to us as a group and as solo artists. But really, I just want to touch that stage in a big way. And if I have to take a loss to make a gain, I'm willing to. Again, I'm not mad at that because a lot of groups, the money is typically the issue. Somebody always wants more money than somebody else. Somebody, you know, especially when people go off and have solo careers, they always come back to their group mates and it's like, shit, who's the most successful out of the group? Me. I need the bread. If there's a pie on the table, I need the biggest slice and you niggas can deal with whatever's left, right? So Jones says, hey, if that's what you want, you can have it, right? Because he was seeing what the streams were doing for other artists, going up 200%. 400% at one point for certain people. More shows, more accolades, more interest in these artists, right? So Cam comes back and says, it's not about the money for me, bro. It's about niggas keep getting more paper off us than we get of us or off us. Okay? So Cam is pretty much looking at this situation strictly from a business standpoint. He's saying it's not necessarily about the money, but we've gone through so many situations in this industry where we associate our name, our brand with other people, and they benefit more off of it than we do. And although that deduces down to money, it's still a value situation, which I agree with both parties in this conversation. I don't understand why it has to be so, animus at this point, but Harlem. So he says, Supreme, etc. Must be the Supreme collab or something they did with Dipset that, they gave their likeness and Supreme ran it up. So he says, Swiss and them ain't paid nobody. Then sold the company for 40 to 50 M's. I'm trying to get back for what they did to the Cold Crush, LOL, which is a Jay-Z line. So he's saying, yo, they're out here doing free shit, right? Getting artists to come do free shows. But then they turn around and sell the company, get 40, 50 million out of it. And what are we going to get out of it other than the cameras on us for 2 hours? Right? So you get two people with two different perspectives of the same situation. And Cam is looking at it like, bro, I got bread. I make money. I got whatever. Because, he been left Dipset. He been left everybody. He moved to Miami years ago or Florida, wherever he went. He took care of his sick mom. Like, he completely left them niggas behind and found other business ventures. He started acting and doing films with Queen Latifah and Flavor Unit and all type of shit. Like, he started getting bread in other areas. The other guys, they were just stuck making music moves. Juelz was locked up, and trying to figure out his dental situation. So he was Ah, shit, I did not expect to laugh at that the way I did. Goodness gracious. So, you know, he wasn't moved the same way the other guys were, right? And shit, I can't even laugh too hard because Cam turned around and figured out his diddle situation. Because as you see on the left, that's his original mouthpiece. The shit you see on his podcast today is a whole nother set. Dipset. So there's that. Now, let's get into some more of Cam's response. So part of his response was an allusion back to this interview he did with Steve Stout in United Masters, where he actually talks about the negotiation process that went into getting himself and Dipset on stage at the Verzuz. So because he alluded back to this, we're going to play the conversation real quick, just so you can know what exactly he was referring to in his conversation with Jim and what it is that he was ultimately asking for.
I want to talk to you more on your business, man. You did New York. You and the Locks did New York a great favor with that Verzuz battle. It was amazing. It was amazing. But I want to talk to you about the business involvement. The Locks said that you led negotiations for both you and the Locks.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your role? What made you take that position? Like, your peers today, man, Cam, you do it for both of us. Talk about that. That's fly shit.
Thank you. They beat the shit out of us in the Verzuz, but I didn't want to do the fucking Verzuz, man. The way the Verzuz went like this, Steve, I had a tour for us lined up, for the Locks and Dipset, literally lined up. And it was about, at the time, maybe like $2.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. You know, this was a few years ago. And they wanted to, Jim really wanted to do the Verzuz. And I'm like, bro, we can do the Verzuz after the tour. And they're like, nah, they're gonna be in Madison Square Garden, let's do it now. I'm like, yo, if we do this now, it's gonna fuck the tour up. Mm-hmm. So Swiss called me from Verzuz, of course. They ran me some raggedy ass numbers. And I'm like, yo, Swiss, what are you talking about right now? What the fuck do you mean? This is for 6 artists. Because you gotta realize there's 3 people, well, 4 artists.
All right, he was hitting you with the promo. Do it for promo.
Nah, fuck promo, Steve. There's a tour lined up. We had a tour for $2.5 million. There's 7 artists gotta get paid. So they had like 100, he said the best we could do is like 125,000. For 7 people? Yo, y'all, and I got $2.5 million waiting, and that was just for like 10 cities. It could have ballooned up to like $6 million. So then they called me back. Swiss calls me back and was like, yo, I'm not gonna tell the real numbers after I tell you that. He calls me back, well, I could do this. And I'm like, nah, bro, that still ain't matching what I got going on. Then Jada called me, he was like, yeah, Kim, I knew you get the number higher, talking about Verzuz. And I'm like, it ain't the tour money though. I got outvoted, Steve. Nobody was fucking listening to me about the tour. They all sitting here worrying about the Verzuz. So what I said to myself was, I told Swiss and Timberland, I said, I don't want to tell everybody now. More of the story, I said, everybody, I'm not gonna say the number. Everybody gotta get at least 6 digits. That's an artist, minimum. So he was like, yo, we can't do it. I said, well, I'm not doing it. Then they came back and got everybody 6 digits. So they ended up giving, you know, the Locks their money, Dipset their money. So then after that, the people who was doing the tour was like, well, we'll let you know if we can still do the tour after this, because I got outvoted. So I got everybody their money, and I started piling my own shit. Like, I want the door money, I want stocks and Triller, I want beats from Timberland and Swiss for free. I want percentage of the views that's gonna go on, and I got all that shit too. Afterwards,
come on, come on.
And then
this is the guy you want negotiating on your behalf.
Yeah. Then we did the Verzuz, we lost, and they canceled the tour. Nobody was listening. Only one who benefited after Verzuz was Jadakiss. He probably got the same money that he would have got on tour afterwards.
That's what I said to him. Man. I said that one verse was like an album.
Yeah, shout out to Jay. That's my guy.
That's
but
my
yeah,
guy.
but thank them for letting me do it, man. That was a pleasure because Triller was gonna get all that fucking money and then niggas wasn't eating it. You know, a lot of people, don't get me wrong, do it for the culture, do it for the culture. Who's eating off the culture? There's some niggas back there eating off, and we all saying do it for the culture, and niggas is back there eating off the culture and you're not getting what you're supposed to get.
Gotta say, I don't always agree with Cam, but I agree with him 1,000% here, because when you go and do it for the culture, and that's great, but the culture is going to be watching, it's going to be tuned in, it's going to be given, you know, all the accolades and the activity, and everybody's going to be talking about it. But the people that's actually generating money off of this shit ain't from the culture. They never are. And in most cases, probably never will, unless some drastic changes are made in the way that business is handled in these industries. And until people of our culture find a way for us to become the majority stakeholders in things concerning our culture, which is going to honestly be an uphill battle. It always has been, and it seems like it always will be, because, you know, we always just get tricked out of our position, ultimately. So I can't be mad at him. Jim Jones seems like he's still mad at him, but it's a value proposition. What you believe your value is, and what I believe my value is, and what I bring to a situation, whether I'm correct or not, I could be fucking wrong. But what you believe your value is versus what I believe my value is can be two totally different things. We may be on two different fucking planets, right? And yes, if we're doing things together, then we're going to have to find a midway point for us to meet up if we're going to come off our planets and work together. But if I ain't concerned about working together, if I've already left you in the dust, figuratively or for real, then it's going to have to take something to move me out of where I currently am to come meet you in the middle. Like, to be honest, this is kind of how it's become for me in, you know, some of my older collaborators in music, right? Some people wonder why they can't get me to record for them no more or with them no more. You know what I'm saying? Do music and just have records on records. It's because I'm over here talking to y'all. I'm over here entertaining y'all. I'm building a community over here. We got 23,000 strong out this bitch, man. I ain't had 23,000 strong just off music. I feel like I'm one of the nicest niggas in the world. I feel like even if I don't out-rap everybody every day, I think I've had moments where I've out-rapped every great rapper in the world, right? And that's just me saying how I feel about me. But for whatever reason, rapping at that high level did not have me all the way where I am today. So I got to give credit to what it is that I'm doing now. I got to continue to sow my seeds in what it is that I'm doing today. I have to nurture it. I have to be careful about where I'm putting my energy. I can't just go do whatever for whoever. I fuck with y'all, but the benefit is what I can do in 3 hours off YouTube is going to greatly supersede what I'm going to get out of 3 hours around you niggas. So you're either going to have to bring something that's going to be compelling for me to say, okay, I'm going to take today off from doing content to come fuck with y'all. It's going to be worth my while. It's going to have to either yield immediate results, or it's going to have some sort of long-term investment that says you can make XYZ. If we could get it here, we could go to here. There's got to be a trade-off. Otherwise, y'all gonna catch me inside the industry with J Nolan on the motherfucking YouTube, and you ain't gonna get the music. Or at least the music with them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's on a smaller level, but I'm just describing it in real life terms. And I'm sure y'all have your own version of that story as well for whatever it is that y'all have in y'all lives and y'all different pursuits and the things that y'all have done over the years. But to be even more honest about the situation, I don't think it's too much more I want to hear from Jim and Cam about this so-called beef with Dipset. All right? Y'all have milked out enough of the people's time, energy, effort, and ear space. Okay? It's over with. It's done, baby. Y'all said what y'all needed to say. We don't want to see y'all fight. We don't want to see y'all battle it out on wax. We don't want none of that, okay? So let's just put a pin in it if we can. I'm pleading, begging y'all, okay? Y'all didn't work out as a group. Y'all not going to collab. Y'all don't live in the same place no more. Y'all not running in the same circles so much these days. So let bygones be bygones. That's what I would say. But of course, there's always more with Cam. So taking it further, Cam says, I don't pay half the shit niggas say no mind. But you know I keep the fouls. You wanted to do a versus for free, nigga. So if you made $1, be happy. Talking about it was on your bucket list. Stop trying to rewrite history. And Cam continues. And your niggas ain't eating unless they came with their own bread. He's saying the only bread these niggas will ever eat with in your circle is if they came to your house with it. He said the boy Sugar Dugger ENT got more money than you, and let's bet 10 M's on that. Go get Handsome a car, a crib, and Jersey or something. I don't know why he called him Handsome, but then he says, I'm done FO now. For now, I guess that is. So there's Cam with even further to say about Jim Jones. Then this morning on his show, It Is What It Is, with Treasure Wilson and Mace, he doubled down and basically said that Tank, Javante Davis, had a draw with Roach or whatever because he came out with Jim Jones and Joel Santana, basically saying that they were negative, bad juju for him to where he wasn't able to perform at his highest level because of them coming out with him.
Okay. Well, we got to talk about this fight. That's the first thing we're going to talk about because we all seen it. Tank versus Roach went down on Saturday in New York, and the results wasn't what a lot of people wanted or expected. It did end in a majority draw. So based off of what you saw, Mace, do you feel like there was a clear winner?
Real quick, I know Mace usually starts. Mace, you mind if I start?
Yeah, go ahead. You go. I got my popcorn.
Because I just want to say something to your credit.
Okay.
This is really to your credit.
I really mean my popcorn.
Yeah. Because a lot of times I'll be like, this nigga Mace he be bugging, yo. I don't say it out loud because your opinion is your opinion. Mace always says, yo, don't bring this nigga out with you because they're not going to win if you bring this nigga out with you. Talking about football games, basketball games. And I'll be sitting here like, I don't really know, but then I got it when the fight went on. When you got that type of energy and you breathing that energy when everybody's sad and mad and depressed and try to look happy, but they not really happy, it gets into you. You have to keep saging that environment. When you're in that environment, it lingers into the fight, and that's kind of the result of the fight. So I just want to give, before we get into the actual fight, I just want to tell you, I see what you're talking about now, because the people you with could possibly fuck your energy up for some shit that you supposed to do. You can't come out with that energy, man. It's bad energy, man. It is bad energy, man. Nobody's happy over there. Everybody's sad. Everybody act like they happy. You ever see that movie? I'm pretty sure you've seen Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And it's a part in Goodfellas where Sam Rothstein, who's played by Robert De Niro, they having mad fun. And Nikki, who's played by Joe Pesci, they over there just looking at them niggas like, yeah, we're having fun too. They not having no fun. Tank, get out of there. Get out of there. But let's get to the fight, Murder. I see what you're talking about now when you talk. Murder, and this has nothing to do with Murder. Murder says this about basketball games, football. I'm saying this that I see what he's talking about. Nasty work. Nasty work, man.
As y'all see, Mace didn't have nothing to say. He brought his popcorn back, and he's been Mr. Popcorn just about any and every time that Cam has wanted to talk about Jimmy. He ain't had much to say. He's trying to stay out of the beef. He's definitely he says that he's been the one to try to talk to Cam and be like, yo, you know, y'all old friends. Y'all really don't got no real issues. Ain't no real money been lost. Ain't nobody family member been, you know, involved in a negative way. But he says, hey, at this point, they're grown men. They're not listening to any advice. They're not taking his counsel. Therefore, he chooses not to speak on the beef. He'll laugh. He'll have his popcorn, but he won't give his input towards the situation. And he's remained consistent on that. Now, again, I don't even want no motherfucking popcorn moving forward. I feel like y'all let bygones be bygones. Live y'all separate lives. Go y'all separate ways. As much as I used to love Dipset, I am completely content with it not being a thing anymore. I will still play Diplomatic Immunity. I'll still play Confessions of Fire. I'll still play Purple Haze. I'll still play Come Home With Me. I'll still play Jim Jones' Diary of a Summer, even though they say he didn't fucking write it. I'll play fucking On My Way to the Church. I'll play that shit. I'll play I ain't listening to his new music. I know he's rapping better, but I'm stuck in a certain era with these niggas. So I'll still play that, and I'll still play Joel's Back Like Cook Crack mixtapes and the albums and all that shit. But I'm cool with y'all not having nothing else to say about each other. You know what I'm saying? That's where I stand. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more to survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.